Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Maria Cozette Show. Today, my guest is fantastic. I am so excited to talk to him. He does so much for our community, both here and in Armenia, so please stay tuned for that interview. And of course, to find out more about the Maria Cozette Show, visit mariacozette.com. Stay with us. You're back and tuned in to the Maria Cozette Show, where the left brain meets the right. I have a wonderful guest with me today, a true man of humility. He is a clinical director, a violinist, and also a very passionate philanthropist. Robert Agaverdian, welcome.
Thank you for having me on your show, Maria.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm so excited to talk to you about music and charity. But first and foremost, tell me about your educational and professional background in healthcare.
Well, I graduated from UC San Diego with the human biology major.
Nice.
Afterwards, I started to pursue a career in nursing. So I went to nursing school, graduated nursing school. I started working as an ER nurse.
That's intense.
It's fun. Never a dull moment.
Right.
Yeah. And then a couple years in, I decided to pursue my career and enhance my career and pursued healthcare administration.
Nice.
I recently got my Master's in Healthcare Administration. I'm currently the clinical director for the behavioral health unit at the hospital.
Oh, wow.
So it's interesting.
Yeah, and what does your daily look like typically?
Anything from just basic things like payroll, scheduling, working with the nurses, working with the CNAs, working with the patients, working with the physicians. It can be anything from, just clinical work to, counting, the admission rate, the discharges, what's going on with the hospital, any incidents that might take place.
Right.
It's never the same thing.
Yeah, so a plethora of things, and it's amazing that you have to kind of really polish your communication skills in speaking with different organizational levels, people, physicians you mentioned, Definitely. And then different, administrative staff. So that's a handful. And so now let's talk about your right brain and your creative side. So a lot of people don't know, and we're going to be talking about later in the show, in that philanthropy is actually driven by the right brain. And Robert is amazing at that, and we'll talk about Bridge of Health. But before that, let's talk about your adventures in being a violinist. So I know that your mother initially encouraged you to play, and although sometimes as kids we're like, we don't necessarily want to listen to our parents, but then we grow up to become grateful for it. So how has playing the violin impacted your life?
It really brings a different side to the human brain. It really, you go from the numbers, from the analytical, you go to the creative, to the imaginative.
Right.
It really, the practicing, you don't just get up and play the violin.
Oh, I know. It's a tough instrument.
Days and months and years of practice really builds your character, really builds stamina, really build that drive and that thrive, to work on something regularly, day in and day out. And then 6 months later, a year later, you accomplish something. So
right.
that really is what's the most important.
Yeah, it's definitely, I'm sure, nurtured your professional side as well, even in healthcare, and then of course charity. So what are some of your favorite pieces to play, or your favorite composers?
Well, Vivaldi, definitely love.
I love Vivaldi.
Seasons, yes.
Yeah.
Vivaldi, I played Bach, and the other ones too, but mainly Vivaldi and Bach were growing up really. The music was different. It was kind of different. It was very deeper, and it really captivated me. And really, I don't know, even now when I'm at work, I'm doing work on the computer or whatever I'm doing, there's always classic music in the background. Really helps me relax and rejuvenate as the day goes on. Yeah,
so I'm sure that, it's impacted you in many different ways. And then also playing music, aside from the fact that, of course, it's like a stress reliever, as you said, or maybe helps you, during work when you're listening to it in the background. But as a musician yourself, you probably listen to music much differently than the regular person would, because you play music. So when do you typically like to perform, or do you just randomly play, maybe? I don't know.
Well, I'm not the best of players, so I just keep it to family gatherings once in a while and there with close friends, when
Nice.
The mood is right, when the time is right,
Yeah, and I think it's the passion that's most important. It's not necessarily, you don't have to be the world's greatest violinist, but the fact that you pick it up anyway and you play, and you're modest, so I'm sure you're pretty good, Robert. But I'll ask your wife about that. Yeah, I hear, when you're a teacher, yeah. So now let's talk charity. And you know that I'm a huge advocate of that. And I love Bridge of Health. And it's had a very good run for 7 years now. Very successful, impactful. And so tell me about Bridge of Health, its mission, its vision.
Our mission started 7 years ago, helping children fighting cancer in Armenia. We started off with blood transfusion, chemotherapy, diagnostic testing, one child at a time.
Right.
And to date, we've helped 170 children.
Amazing.
About 2 years ago, we started, looking at more than the present, more than the individual child. Started looking at the systemic view of it. How can we help Armenia's healthcare system?
Right.
And this is where, where we went from the mission to the vision. And the vision is to improve and help Armenia's healthcare system expand.
Right.
So as using the right side of the brain, that creativity, that vision is what's needed for organizations to grow and to thrive.
Yeah.
For example, you look at a tree. The green leaves of a tree represents a healthy healthcare system. Every country has a healthcare system, right? Armenia, Germany, France, Venezuela, Afghanistan, every country has some kind of healthcare system. The leaves on the tree represent the healthiness of it. Well, healthy leaves need strong branches. Branches represent clinical research.
Right.
Countries that have strong clinical research, like the United States, like Germany, you have MD Anderson, City of Hope, right? St. Jude, Johns Hopkins, to name a few. Countries that have strong clinical research are able to have a healthy healthcare system.
Absolutely.
The branches are tied to the stem. The stem represents statistical research. I'm a healthcare administrator. Every day when I go to work, I measure things. I measure our admissions, our discharges, our readmissions, our patient outcomes, our infection rate. I mean, you name it, we measure it.
Right.
That's statistical research. Every country needs to have statistical research to have a healthy healthcare system.
Right.
But the most important part of a tree is the roots. And the roots represent registry. In order for a country to have a healthy healthcare system, you have to start with the registry, with the roots. So that's why March of 2019, Bridge of Health started Armenia's first pediatric cancer registry.
Fantastic.
The project is about halfway done. We'll finish up in the springtime, and it'll be an ongoing project.
Correct.
And from spring of next year, we're going to start Armenia's first adult cancer registry. This is amazing. This is something that's beyond comprehension. But to really get everyone behind that vision that, let's improve Armenia's healthcare system. Well, it's not going to happen tomorrow. How long does it take for a tree to grow? 5 years, 10 years, 15 years? Well, that's what we're looking at. We're looking at 10 to 15 years. We start out with the registry. We move on to statistical research. We move on to having clinical research. And then one day, maybe, if we work hard enough, if we are as persistent as we think we are, then maybe Armenia's healthcare system will be that comparable to Denmark's or Germany's or Netherlands.
Yeah, God willing. And I have always admired your passion in leading this organization. I know that it started from humble beginnings, which is even more beautiful. You didn't have millions of dollars. You really had a vision as a leader, and you've done an incredible job with gathering others to believe in what you believe in and building that bridge for health.
It's never one person. It's really everybody coming together. We're all pieces of a puzzle. We're like a team, You can't have all goalies, you can't have all strikers, you can't have all captains, you can't have all coaches. It's really everyone coming together, and that unity of everyone's vision, everyone's mission all together is what really gives Bridge of Health its flavor, and which, I'm very proud of to be part of that organization. And, I'm a very humble volunteer, and it's really our artistic side. We have a lot of artistic members in our organization that really help us. Yes, our PR director, our different members of the organization.
Right.
They all, bring their creativity, their free time, and we sit down, and 7 years later, here we are. So
yeah, fantastic. So how can people get involved with Bridge of Health? How can they contribute? Because I feel like any nonprofit organization, everybody is a part of it, and you really want to engage the community. So how can people get involved?
I myself, I donate to the organization. I'm a volunteer, but I like to, preach what I follow what I preach.
Right.
So I'm registered myself to the monthly donation. I encourage everyone to sign up, $5, $10 a month donation, make a donation, go to our website, see what we do, and really, hold us accountable. I mean, it's, there's the accountability factor that really is important. So get involved, look at what we do, and stay involved, and I don't know, just do our part, but working together is how we're going to get this done.
Again, I really want to emphasize that I do really admire the organization, and having studied organizational change and leadership as a doctorate, everything that I study actually is kind of coming to life within this organization, and the work you do and the events you have, and even at the event, the type of message that's conveyed is just really beautiful. So I'm very, very proud of you and your entire team. So big shout to the team at Bridge of Health. And this last question I ask all of my guests, and that, why do you think it's important to have a creative outlet, whether it's your music, whether it's philanthropy, something outside of your work in healthcare? Why is it important to have that as a professional?
It touches parts of the soul that really you can't feel in any other way. It really goes to the roots. I mean, it really makes you well-rounded, and it really touches the part of the personality, the part of the human nature, the human, that you can't get through other avenues.
Right. Oh, well said. That was perfect. I ask all my guests, and that was a very good answer.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Always a pleasure to have people like you. I really and truly wish you the absolute best on your future endeavors. So I encourage all of you to check out their website and all the incredible work they do. And of course, please stay tuned, because there is more of the Maria Cozette Show.
To create along with nature. To masterfully blend subtle flavors. To trust time in the making of history. To share everything we are proud of. Ararat, from heart to heart.
Know the Greats, where we spotlight a legend. Tupac Amaru Shakur was an American rapper and actor who came to embody the 1990s gangster rap aesthetic, and who in death became an icon symbolizing noble struggle. He has sold 75 million albums to date, making him one of the top-selling artists of all time. A sensitive, precociously talented, and troubled soul, Tupac was gunned down in Las Vegas on September 7, 1996, and died 6 days later. His murder has never been solved. Tupac began his music career as a rebel with a cause, to articulate the travails and injustices endured by African Americans. His skill in doing so made him a spokesperson not just for his own generation, but for subsequent ones who continue to face this same struggle for equality. I am a forever fan, as are many people around the world. Tupac left such an impression, an indelible mark on music, that this Armenian American girl, although leading a completely different kind of life, continues to religiously bump his music and feel the passion in every lyric. The Art of Giving, where we spotlight a charitable organization. Burbank Arts for All Foundation. This organization's mission is to ensure every student in Burbank Public Schools receives a quality arts education as part of their core curriculum. You have a place in this mission. Everyone does. Help the foundation make arts education a priority in every Burbank public school. They believe all students should have equal access to a quality arts education that nurtures a balanced approach to life, develops 21st century skills for any career path a student chooses, and further enriches a healthy community and creative economy in my hometown of Burbank. The foundation helps provide much-needed artistic tools and supplies in the classrooms. It is all about supporting the next artist and fostering well-rounded humans in the world. For more info, please visit burbankartsforall.org. That's a wrap for the Maria Cozette Show. Thank you so much for tuning in, and of course for tuning in every Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Much love to my guest today, Robert Agaverdian. I am so proud of all the amazing work you've done with Bridge of Health, and of course for exercising the right side of your brain, the creative side, and playing the violin. For any further information about the show, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and always remember, stay creative.